ಆಮೇಲೆ
ಇಡ್ಲಿ ಕೊಡಿ ಅದ್ರ ಮೇಲೆ 195
ನಾವೇ ಕೊಡಪ್ಪ ಅಯ್ಯೋ ಅವನು ಎಷ್ಟು ದಿವಸ ಆಗಿದೆ
2900 ಆಯ್ತು
ಟೈಮ್ ನೋಡು
2017
ಎಷ್ಟು ವರ್ಷ ಇದೆ ನಿನಗೆ ಗ್ಯಾರಂಟಿಗೆ
15 months ಅಂತ ಇದೆ ಅದ್ರ ಮೇಲೆ
ಆಗೋಗಿದೆ ಅಲ್ಲ
ಇವತ್ತೇ ಹೇಳ್ದ ಅವ್ನು 3000 ಅಂತ ನಾನು ಹಾಕಿಟ್ಟಿರ್ತೀನಿ ಬೇಕಿದ್ರೆ 3000 ಆಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ
ನಂಗೂ ಒಂದು 2.5-3 ಆಗುತ್ತೆ
ಬರೋದು 2400 ಕಂಪ್ನಿ ರೇಟ್ 1400 ಹಾಕೋದು ಅದ್ರ ಮೇಲೆ ಮತ್ತೆ ನಾನು ಇವ್ರು ಎಷ್ಟು ಹೇಳ್ತಾರ
Good afternoon, everybody. What are the portions covered till today? That is in the fourth module, the mechanical measurements classified into two types. Mechanics type of measurements and power type of measurement. Again, the mechanics type of measurement is classified into three categories. One is the empirical method, other one is rational method, third one is experimental method. Why I am seriously expressing this classification is mechanical measurement is very, very important. Many question papers, not only in engineering, if you take any competitive examination, many question papers, you have a question on mechanics type of measurement and also power type of measurement in the objective type questions. So in that, you have classification of mechanics type of measurement and power type of measurement. The mechanics type of measurement is classified into three types: empirical method, rational method, and experimental method. They come to the point. Empirical design method, it is completely based on intuition. The intuition is in Kannada we call uhisodu. So that is that type of measurement. Sometimes it is proved to be wrong. Proved to be wrong. So we cannot relay the empirical method for measurement of anything. For that reason, the empirical measuring method, which is based on intuition, that cannot be relayed. Next, come to the point. Another two types of measurement is the rational method and the experimental method. The rational method, it is completely based on well-established laws, scientific laws and relationship. For example, I ask you to calculate the velocity of a ball which is moving from one place to other place. So you know the equation V equal to U plus AT. Substitute the values here, you will get the answer. How do you say that the answer is correct? You are thinking that the well-established scientific laws are available. From that, you have calculated velocity of the ball. So for that reason, sometimes this method of measurement also proved to be wrong. So for that reason, the rational design method, which has limited scope in measurement. Next comes the point of very, very important for mechanical engineers in the objective type question in the competitive examination. Usually they ask the which method of measurement usually used in engineering design. So that is experimental method. This is experimental method, and this is completely based upon trial and error method. Say to all of you already performed experiments in BMT lab. So there you have already conducted tension test, compression test, shear test, all those things. Many of you know that at a 4000 kg value, the specimen fails. So all of you know that 4,800 or 4,900 or 4,700. In between that, the specimen fails. You know the answer, but you are getting the wrong answer. By adjusting the input values, by adjusting the parameters of the measurement, if you get the answer, if you get the result by adjusting the input parameters, that is called experimental method of measurement. Experimental method of measurement. So almost all the question paper, you have a question on mechanical measurement, classification of mechanical measurement. Next, come to the point, the power type of measurement. As I told you in the very good example, Raichur thermal power plant, that in that thermal power plant, they produce the steam. The steam is used to run the steam turbine. The steam turbine is directly coupled to the alternator or generator. From that, they produce the electric current. There, the engineer or the worker will not go to the boiler or will not go to the turbine or will not go to the alternator. Everything is controlled away from the plant. Away from the plant. So that's a very good example of power type of measurement. So in this case, what will happen if anything, say for example, the temperature of the steam is more than the normal temperature. How do you control the temperature? How do you bring the temperature of the steam to the normal value? So for that, there will be a standard or reference value is there. By comparison, they bring down the temperature of the steam to the normal value. That is, away from the plant, they control all the parameters by comparing reference or standard. From that, they control all the equipments, all the components of the boiler, turbine, and the alternator. Once again, mechanical measurement is classified into two: mechanics type of measurement and power type of measurement. The mechanics type of measurement again classified into three types: empirical method, rational method, experimental method. So empirical method is based on intuition. Rational design method is completely based on well-established scientific laws, and the experimental method is very, very important for mechanical engineers. This experimental method is completely based upon trial and error method. And the power type of measurement is, here you have a one or more than one translation. More than one translation. The name itself indicates requires the power used for the measurement. So this is very good example for measurement of resistance, measurement of voltage, measurement of current using multimeter. There also you have translation, that is nothing but whichever the result you want, there will be two or more translations are present. Next, come to the point, a fundamental method of measurement. So don't get confused with fundamental method of measurement and the mechanical measurement. The fundamental, the basic method of measurement again classified into two: direct method and indirect method. In the direct method, say for example, I ask you to measure length of the MS plot by using steel scale. How do you measure? You keep the MS plot on the surface plate, keep the scale on that. One end of the scale coincides with the one end of the workpiece, and the other end shows the measurement. That's the comparison of unknown magnitude with the magnitude. That is a direct method. In the indirect method, as I told you earlier, by using some translation, maybe measurement or maybe translation, that is nothing but, for example, the electronic weighing machine, the output is in grams or kgs. So there, whichever the unknown magnitude is placed on the platform, which exerts the force on the platform. Below the platform, there will be sensors, which is made of electrical resistance strain gauges, which converts the force into electrical output. That is a resistance. So in that case, what will happen? The force, that is nothing but analytical signal, that is converted into a change in the resistance that is converted into voltage signal. That voltage signal is converted into digital signal. In the digital signal, which digital signal modifier converts the signal into kg or milligrams. So that can be the result of the measurement. All of you can measure the unknown magnitude by using electronic weighing machine. So next come to the point, the definition of calibration. The definition of calibration is also very important for mechanical engineers, because the always we are using micrometer, vernier caliper, vernier height gauge, vernier depth gauge, and the resistance thermometer, thermocouples, thermometers, and any instrument where you have precision or sensitivity is required in the measurement, you have to calibrate every year or once in a 2 years. The calibration is nothing but comparing the instrument that is used in the workshop or machine shop, considered as working standard. So while working standard, if you have any error in the working standard, for example, in the micrometer, you are using micrometer for measuring the diameter of the workpiece in the machine shop. If you have any error in the measurement, after continuous use of 10 years, 15 years or 20 years, you have to calibrate the micrometer with the standard micrometer which is available in our metrology lab. So there you have to compare the working micrometer with the standard micrometer which is available in our metrology lab. That is called calibration. And the same way, one more method is there. You can use end standard. You can use end standard, that is slip gauges. You can use slip gauge for calibration of micrometer in our metrology. I think almost all of you performed this experiment, the calibration of micrometer in the metrology lab. So there you have two types of errors. One is cumulative error, other one is periodical error. Say for example, you are using 0 to 50 millimeter or 0 to 25 millimeter range micrometer. There you can observe two types of errors. One is cumulative error, other one is progressive. Cumulative, progressive error, both are same. Periodic error. So the progressive error is right from the starting of the input value. For that you have to get the output. There you have the error. Say for example, if you fix a 4 millimeter, if you fix a 4 millimeter, you must get 4 millimeter. But in actual measurement, you get the 3.99 or sometimes 4.01 millimeter. So if you deduct the true value from the measured value, that is the error. That error may be positive or negative. Positive or negative. So that error. So stage by stage, the error is continuously occurring, which goes on adding the value. That is nothing but progressive or cumulative error. Say for example, if you are using 0 to 50 micrometer, in the division of 25th division, if you have the error, you must get 25 millimeter, but you have 24.99 or 25.01. That 0.1 millimeter is the error. That error may be cumulative or the error may be negative or positive. That error periodically occurring at the time of 25th millimeter. So that is periodically occurring error. So calibration of all the instruments are very important. So you can mark it very important. This time you can expect this question. Next come to the point, sensitivity. The definition of sensitivity. How do you define sensitivity? From this graph, just to understand, say all of you observe here you have two curves. That is called calibration curve. This is called calibration curve. For example, 0 to 50 millimeter micrometer, or 0 to 100 millimeter, or 0 to 250 millimeter micrometer. For this, here in the x-axis input value, this is known as QI, and the corresponding input you must have the output, that is QO. QI and the QO are very important for calibration curve. Say next, for example, say the first input is 10 millimeter. Consider 0 to 250 millimeter micrometer. For that, the first measurement is 5 millimeter. So for input of 5 millimeter, you must get 5 millimeter output. Suppose if you have 4.99 or 5.01, that is the measurement. That type of error you observe while calibrating the micrometer. If you plot the graph, input versus output, say all of you observe here, the input versus output graph, you have the slope. These points indicates the error that may be above the actual value or below the actual value. Observe here, this is 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. These 5 points are input value you have provided to the input to the instrument. For that, the output is below the input value. For example, 5 you have 4.99, for 10 you have 9.99, for 20 you have 19.999. Like that, you have the input value. You must have the input value for that exact output. But in actual measurement, there will be some discretion or scatter is present. And next come to the point, for the input value, say 10 millimeter, 15 millimeter, 20 millimeter, 200 millimeter, and 250 millimeter. All of you observe here, for the input you must get 15 only or 10 only, but you have the above the normal value, that is above the normal value. Observe here, 1, 2, 3, 4. So due to the input value, you must get exact output, but in the actual measurement, you have scatter deviation in the output value. That is nothing but the error in the instrument. Almost all the measuring instruments, they have some provision to rectify the error. In that case, what you have to do? Use the average. Average of measurement. Say for example, how many measurement is there? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Say add all the output values and divided by the number of input. And that is known as sensitivity. The sensitivity may be limit delta tends to 0. The difference is you must have, for 0 input value, you must have 0 output. That is limit delta tends to 0, delta QO divided by delta QI for all the values of I. So whichever the input you provided to the instrument, you must get the corresponding output. That is, the delta QI is the input value, delta QO is the output value. For that, there will be a scatter because of the error in the instrument. Where you have the error, that is important. Say the mechanism used and the method used for the measurement, and the looseness in the mechanism, and the worn out screw threads, worn out worm wheel. So these things makes the instrument to read, make the instrument to give wrong result. So for that reason, you can add all the result and divide it by number of measurement. That will give you the exact measurement. So this is known as sensitivity. Sensitivity. So in the general definition, sensitivity means for all the input value, you must get the corresponding output value. There should not be any deviation or error. There should not be any error or deviation. So these two curves indicate the calibration curve. For mechanical engineers, calibration curve is very, very important. Next, come to the point, repeatability. Say repeatability error. Repeatability error. So what is the meaning of repeatability error? For this, I have a very good example. That is, I ask you to measure the temperature of the oil SAE 40, which is available in our engine lab. I ask you to measure the temperature of the oil at some time intervals. I ask you to measure at 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, and 4 o'clock. If you measure the temperature of the oil at 10 o'clock, it shows 35 degree centigrade, 10 o'clock. And again, if you measure the temperature of the oil at 11 o'clock, 36 degree centigrade. Next, again, if you measure the temperature of the oil at 12 o'clock using thermometer, you have 37 degrees centigrade. And again, if you measure the temperature of the oil at 1 o'clock, it shows 38 degree. And 2 o'clock, again 38 degree. 3 o'clock, 39 degree. At 4 o'clock, again 40 degree. Say the same oil, same instrument, but there will be a time. At a different time, you have different answer. The system is same, instrument is same, everything is same. But you have the different result. Different result. That is nothing but repeatability. Repeatability. The cumulative repeatability. That is known as repeatability error. That is called as repeatability error. This type of error can be minimized. For that, draw the graph input versus output. For the input, what output you have, and the same way draw the curve like this. Consider few values plus or minus values and take the average. How do you avoid the repeatability error in instrument, in measuring instrument? For that, very good example is take all the results of the measurement. Say for example, 25 times you have measured the temperature of the oil, then divided by number of times, that is average of temperature. The average number, if you divide the average, you will get the exact temperature of the oil. That is taking the average measurement. From that you can minimize the repeatability error. Minimize the repeatability error. This is very, very important for mechanical engineers. Next, come to the point, the threshold resolution or hysteresis. Threshold resolution or hysteresis. Say this is nothing but the elastic property and the plastic property of the material. Within the elastic limit, there is no deformation. After the elastic limit, there is a deformation in the ductile metal. The ductile metal may be aluminium, copper, and mild steel. So this is nothing but hysteresis. This type of property or threshold resolution used in metal forming applications. Say threshold resolution or hysteresis used in metal forming application. Metal forming application means the design of the fuel tank of a two-wheeler and the design of body of the car and the rim of the wheel, and that is concerned with the automobile, and the whichever the utensils you have in kitchen, all the kitchen utensils are manufactured by using the concept hysteresis. That is nothing but applying the force or load on the specimen. Alternatively, once the specimen is loaded tension within the elastic limit, again load the specimen in the compression in the opposite direction. All human beings, we oppose the change, will not accept change in anything. In the same way, the material also which rises the opposite property when we ask for the change. Once is in tension against the compression. So due to that, there will be a deformation. There will be deformation. Hysteresis or threshold resolution means the plain circular sheets are available. All of you heard the spinning lathe. In the spinning lathe, they press the sheet in opposite direction, in the forward direction. From that, they make the tumbler. They make the circular vessels in the spinning lathe. All of you observe here, the threshold resolution hysteresis is nothing but the maximum and the minimum for the material within the elastic limit. Say the input value in this direction, output value in the y direction. First point, this is the first point. At this point, load the specimen in tension. Load the specimen in tension. As soon as which the specimen reaches the elastic limit, maximum elastic limit. At this point, stop loading. Again, load the specimen in the opposite direction. First is in tension. Second step, load the specimen in the opposite direction. That is nothing but compression. Load the specimen in compression. Plot the values of input versus output. Input versus output. Input versus output. Say, when you change the direction of loading, you have the curve like this. At this point, stop the loading within the elastic limit. Again, load the specimen in the opposite direction. The previous loading is in compression. Here, the loading is in again in tension. Say, curve. If you plot the curve, input versus output, the path of the curve traces and come to this point. So this is nothing but hysteresis. This type of alternate loading of up in the opposite direction, which has serious consequences in metal forming operations. Serious consequences in metal forming operations. For example, fuel tank of the two-wheeler and fuel tank of the two-wheeler and the rim of the two-wheeler and utensils which you use in your kitchen which are manufactured by using the mechanical property hysteresis, that is nothing but loading the specimen or loading the component in alternate direction. Once in compression, first in compression, again in tension, again in compression, again in tension. That is nothing but alternatively loading of the specimen in opposite direction, which has serious consequences in metal forming operation. So now this much is enough for you. Now at this stage stop, and I ask now I make once again, that is calibration, sensitivity. This is the calibration curve. Next, repeatability and hysteresis. These four are very, very important. Mark it, very, very important. And you can expect this question in the examination. And now I make unmute to all. If you have any questions, please ask me. Ganesh, you have any question?
No,
Ganesh,
sir.
can you listen? You have question about sensitivity?
Yes, sir.
Okay, next, Manjunath, do you have any?
No, sir.
No, okay, thank you very much. Now, stop at this stage and I will continue in the next class. Thank you very much.
Yes. Yes, sir.